Hey everyone! In this video, we'll be talking about how to compute descriptive statistics in SAS, including the mean, standard deviation. We'll also be going over how to create scatter plots. These are plots that look at the relationship between two variables, and we'll be looking at how we can customize these plots in SAS. So go ahead and open up SAS, and then we'll start with reading in our data. Now that we have SAS open, there's another file that could be helpful that I've uploaded online. It's titled week3_template SAS. What this is it's commented out text that I'm using to just organize our syntax here. So to create a comment in SAS, you start with a asterisk, you type in whatever text you want to type in, and then you end it with a semicolon. It has to be on the same line, or it could probably be on different lines, but for the point of this video, I have everything on the same line. Okay, so you can go ahead and open this if you want, or you could make your own headers, either way. So we'll go ahead and get into coding. So the first thing we want to do is read in our data, and again, in SAS, I found it the easiest to just use point and click for reading in our data sets. So we'll go to File, Import Data, and then I'm going to work with the tab delimited file, so the .dat file. And so I will select tab delimited here, click Next. I'll go ahead and browse for the file, and the reg data 1 data set for me is on the C drive in the datasets folder. As you can see, nothing is showing up here because under file types I have .txt. I'm going to go ahead and change that to all files. And then this is the DAT file that I was looking for. So I'll select that. I'll click Open. I'll click Next. I'll call this reg data 1. And then I'll just go ahead and click Finish here. And we see here it has been successfully created with 150 observations for 6 variables, which is what we want. And then if we go into libraries, we go into the work folder, we can see our data set is there. Okay, now that we have our data set, the next thing we want to do is we want to set our output delivery system, or ODS. We want to set this to HTML, and this is the format that our output will be displayed in once we start running our code here. So in order to set that, we'll just type in ODS HTML. And then in SAS, after every command, or most commands, we have to type a semicolon. So I found that when I make mistakes in SAS, it's usually because I've left out a semicolon. So just watch out for that. Okay. So let's go ahead. So there's a line of code that I'll type in here. I'll show you how to export all of your output into a Word document, but we'll skip that for now and I'll come back to that at the end. So let's start with descriptives. So to compute our descriptives, we're going to use proc mean. Now proc is short for procedure, and so SAS has a bunch of different procedures built into it, and we can use these procedures to compute, for instance, like right now, we're going to compute our descriptive statistics. The procedure we want here is proc means, and then our data set is reg data 1. Oops. Equal sign, reg data 1. And then after that, we want to specify what we want in our descriptives, or which descriptives we'd like SAS to compute for us. So I want to know the sample size, and the mean, and the median, the variances. For standard deviations, it's a STD. I want the minimums, the maximums, and then this last argument here is to round everything to 2 decimal places, so that in the tables I don't have a lot of decimals where it makes the table harder to read. So I'm going to ask that SAS round everything to 2 decimal places. And then the last thing that we need is a run statement, and that will run our code. So if we highlight this here, And then to run, we click submit here, or it looks like a little running man. Give it a second to work here, and there we go. So we have our variables here, y, and then x1 through x5. We have our sample sizes, our means, our medians, our variances, our standard deviations, our minimums, and our maximums. And then if we go back, so down here you can see our different tabs. We're on our results viewer. This is our syntax, and then if you look at the log, it'll show what SAS ran. So here it ran proc means, and everything looks good. So the log you want to be looking in to see if anything ran in any errors, but we're good there. Okay, so that's descriptives. The next thing we're going to get into is plotting and then customizing that plot. So to create a scatter plot in SAS, the procedure we'll be using is sgplot. Again, we want to specify that our data set is reg data1. And then I like to indent after the proc statement. And we want to specify a scatter plot where y is y and x is x1. So here we'll be looking at the relationship between x1 and y. And something to note is the y in black here, or on the right side of the equal sign, that's what the variable is called in your data set. And then same thing here for the right side of the equal sign for the x variable. So you'll always write y equals and x equals, but whatever's on the right side of the equal sign will change depending on what the variables are called in your particular data set. And then we'll just go ahead and run this. Again, I'll just highlight and then press the submit button up here. And there we go. So this is our base scatter plot. So we have x1 on the horizontal axis and y on the vertical axis. Now we'll start getting into how to customize this plot. The first thing that we're going to do is to add a title. So I'm actually just going to copy and paste to build on this original plot here. Okay, and then to add the title, after scatter, I'm going to use a title statement, and in quotes goes the title. So here I'm just going to type scatter plot of x1 and y. Remember, that's the title will go in quotes and then a semicolon to end it. We'll highlight and then press submit. And as you can see from the original plot to this one, we've now added a title. Okay. Again, I'll highlight and copy and paste for the next part. And for this next plot, we're going to change the point characters. So as you can see, we have open circles in our original plot. And I'm going to go ahead and show that you can customize these if you'd like. So we're actually going to click in here after the x, or after y equals y and x equals x1. Type in a /, and we want to type filled outlined markers. And then we're going to enter to the next line. And as you can see here, I'm keeping the semicolon right at the end here. So there's no semicolon after filled outline markers, and it's going to be at the end of the second line. Okay. So to change the point character, we're going to use the marker ATTRS for attributes is equal to, and then in parentheses, the symbol, and then whatever symbol that we want. So here I'm going to change them to diamonds. And again, remember, we have this semicolon at the end here. and everything else stays the same. So for what goes in here to change the point character, a simple Google search will show you all the different things that you can change the point character to. But in this case, I'm going to change them to diamonds. Again, we'll highlight and then we'll press submit to run our code. And as you can see here, all of the point characters have changed to diamonds. Okay. Now the next thing I want to do is I want to change the color and the fill of these different points on our scatter plot. So I've copy and pasted here again. And the first thing that we're going to do is after here, again, we're gonna get our cursor in between this closed parenthesis after diamond and then right before the semicolon, because we're going to carry that through. And on a new line, we're going to add marker fill ATTRS. So this is for the marker fill, and I'm going to change the color. And in this case, I'm going to change it to Dodger Blue. So I grew up about 30 minutes away from LA, and I'm not an Angel fan, so I thought Dodger Blue would be a cool color to change our point characters to. So marker fill is going to be what the fill of the diamond is, and then I also want to change the outline because I don't want the outline to be a different color than what the fill is. So marker outline ATTRS equals, and then again the same thing, color equals the same color, Dodger Blue. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and highlight that. Press submit. And we have our new scatter plot. So it doesn't look like anything happened, but that's because the color changed to blue. We'll see more of a drastic change when we... Did we fill it in? Hold on. Maybe I'm missing something here. Give me 1 second. I feel like that last plot wasn't created. So give me a second here. Let me make sure everything is matching up. Oh, there we go. I see. Okay. So up here, the thing that I left out is under marker ATTRS, symbol equals, it should be diamond filled. So without this, so this is actually just, this becomes one word, so it's diamond filled. If I leave it at diamond, it will be an open diamond, so I have to change it to whatever shape with filled attached to the end of the word. So you just add that to the end, and then that will make it a character that you can fill in instead of one that's just open. So I'm going to go ahead and run this one more time. There we go. And yeah, so the shade of blue did change a little bit, and then instead of having open diamonds, we now have closed and filled diamonds. All right. So what we'll do here is we're going to add a regression line, and our code will change a little bit. So I'll just type this one out from scratch. So we're going to use proc sgplot again. That doesn't change, and then data, same thing. Reg data 1. Instead of typing scatter, I'm just going to type reg for regression. Y again is equal to y, and then x is equal to x1. I have another forward slash, and then filled, outlined, markers. And then these next three I can just copy and paste from the last one. And then I can copy and paste the title. And then we end with our run statement. So from here to here, adding the regression line, the only thing that changes is instead of scatter, we change it to reg. And that will automatically input a regression line. So let's go ahead and highlight it and submit it. And there we go. So now we have our scatter plot with the regression line overlaid on top of the scatter plot. Now what if we want to also customize this regression line? So let's go ahead and copy and paste this. And here we'll change the color and the width of the regression line. So to change, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to click again in between this close parenthesis for Dodger Blue and the the semicolon before title. I'm going to enter onto a new line, and now we're going to change the line attributes. So line ATTRS is equal to, and then in parentheses, I'm going to request that the color is black and that the thickness is equal to 4, so that the line is a little bit thicker than the default width of the line. Everything else stays the same. I'll go ahead and highlight, and then I'll run this. And as you can see from this plot to this plot, the line is a little bit thicker and the color has changed from that grayish blue to black. Alright, so that's it for coding. What I'm going to show you now is if you want to output, instead of having the output be in this results viewer, you can actually export this to a Word document so that you can copy and paste plots and you can copy and paste tables. So we go up here, back to the top of our syntax file, and after ODS HTML and before the first procedure, what we're going to type is the path. So I'll explain in just a second. So ODS RTF path is equal to, and then in quotes, we're going to type in the path of where we want to put this data set. So if you remember, my data sets are all in the C drive, in the datasets folder, and so I want to just put this output in the same place. So I'm going to put it in the C drive, and then it's in the datasets folder. And then here, output delivery system, ODS, RTF is rich text file. That's the format of the document that we're going to be creating. And so this is the path for that. And so it's going to go here. And then you want a space, and then file equals, and then you want in quotes, you want to type in the file name. And I'm going to call it week 3 lab. And don't forget this last part, but you have to type the file type. So it's RTF for rich text file. And then end it with a quote, and then end it, and then finish it off with a semicolon. Okay, so we have the first line here, and then at the end, at the very end, after the last run statement, we want to type ODS RTF close to let SAS know where we're done, and then we want to quit. So essentially, once you write all of your code out, in between ODS HTML and the first procedure, you want to type this first line, and then at the very end, type these last 2 lines. So we're just wrapping the code that we've already written with these 3 lines of code, and what it'll do is it'll output a Word document for us. So I'll go ahead and highlight. So you want to do this at the end when everything is done and you know that everything works. And then you can go ahead and highlight the whole file and press submit. And then if you give it a second here, it should open up the Word file. So here's Word, it's opening up very slowly. Okay, so here we have our table of descriptives, we have our original plot, and then we have all the plots that we have sequentially customized, added customizations to, ending with this plot. And as you can see, these are just images that we can copy and paste into other documents, and that goes for the table as well. And remember, this file is located where we specify the file path is. So if I open up my file finder, and if I go to my C drive and go to the datasets folder, so you can see this is the path here. Week 3 output is right here. And so that's that file. So that's how you export all of your SAS output into a Word document. And with that, that concludes this video on descriptive statistics and scatter plots in SAS.